So, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, yeah, my name's Boeboe. I'm the reigning world champion for Grand Archive, and this game's great. I highly recommend everybody plays it.
So who are you playing today?
Today I'm playing Guoja, Win Guoja, playing Seiryu. I want to make the big, massive dragon and crash in for a ton of damage and throw some arcane blasts at people.
That makes a lot of sense. And you're part of Team Main Deck, so I assume you're from across the pond?
I am, yep. We're in North Dakota, Minnesota, in the United States.
That's really cool. I've been seeing that there's a lot of people. I've seen this someone from New Zealand, people coming over from Canada. As a Universes player, where we only can really get people from our region, seeing people traveling internationally for a regional level event is really cool. What drives the community to have this level of engagement?
A lot of people just really like the game. Like, it's really engaging. It's really fun. It's very got a lot of good complexities. It kind of hits a lot of the same notes as like UVS does actually, because there's just like a ton of different micro decisions you need to make that are pretty interesting. But then also prize support for these events is very good. So these are Ascent, so they're kind of localized to a region, but they're open events that anybody can enter. And usually there's a $10,000 cash prize pool for top 8 that gets shared. So winners are walking around with 3K, and it's even paying out to top 16 cash. And then on top of that, top 8 gets these really cool prize spirit cards that you can start your opening play with. And those are pretty valuable as well. Those are really highly in demand, so you can either kind of hold on to them as prizes, or a lot of people will buy them for a pretty good chunk of change. So.
And how's the event been overall for you?
It's been a lot of fun. I'm 3-0-2 so far, so kind of getting into a weird bracket where I've got a couple draws, but other than that, it's going very well.
So the event is essentially across the road from MegaCon. Is this something Grand Archive does a lot?
A little bit. So the draw, the hook to Grand Archive is that it's an anime TCG and kind of has more westernized game design. So they do try and line up a little bit with cons. This is the first time we've had an Ascent at the same location as an anime con going on. But the host company, or the head company that designs the game, Weaves of the Shore, they go to a ton of different anime conventions and gaming conventions. So they're kind of getting that word out there that way as well.
So you got 1 minute to the round starts.
Yep.
So in 30 seconds, why should someone who has never played Grand Archive before give it a shot?
Honestly, it's the best trading card game on the market right now. It's so much fun. If you're kind of tired of the big three, this is going to be a very big, refreshing breath of fresh air. And it's super engaging. The art's fun. It's a lot of anime. And so if you like anime, it's awesome. And even beyond that, just it's very high quality art. The cards are very high quality. Just everything about the game is kind of firing on all cylinders right now. So it's definitely the best game to be playing at the moment.
That sounds absolutely amazing. Well, I'll let you go off to your next round.
All right.
Best of luck, and I'll see you in Top Cuts tomorrow then.
I hope so. Thank you much.
Hi, so would you like to quickly just introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Theo. I'm the Organized Play Manager for Grand Archive TCG, so I oversee and run most of our competitive tournaments.
Oh, that's actually amazing. I was just sent over here to find someone cool. Head of OP is definitely my water.
Well, I'm not in charge of everything. That's my other guy over there, but I do a lot of the on-the-ground stuff.
That makes a lot of sense. So how's the event been overall?
It's been really good. It's been very fun. A lot of people I've talked to. Everyone's in good spirits. I think people are really enjoying themselves. It's only our second Ascent level event in all of Europe, so a lot of these people are very excited to just have a major tournament to go to.
That makes a lot of sense. The decision to have it with MegaCon, was that a conscious decision? Did you know MegaCon was happening, or was it just a happy accident?
Personally, I didn't know it was happening, but I think the partners that we were working with, Living Realms, they know a lot of the organizers over for MegaCon, so I think they probably timed it out to be pretty convenient because they know there's a lot of people who would be interested in this game that are interested in a lot of the stuff over there.
Very anime style cards with an anime con. Makes a lot of sense, and there has been a lot of people coming over from the side just to check out what's going on here and taking a demo. In terms of organized play for 2026, what's driving players competitively for Grand Archive?
Yeah, so we have a yearly cycle of our events that go from these Ascent level events into an invite-only nationals or international tournament that leads directly into our World Championships, which is a 32-player invite-only event. So it's the best 32 players in the world get to compete for a lot of money, a lot of exclusive prize cards. Actually, our current world champion from last year is here and playing in this event right now. I think he's somewhere around the top tables. He's doing well. But so a lot of these players are playing to get their chance to be invited to Worlds, because the winner of this event gets an automatic invite to Worlds. The rest of them are playing for points to play at Nationals. So
that makes a lot of sense. So you acquire points, you play at Nationals, and then the top X players make it to Worlds?
Exactly, yeah. Usually it's like top 4 in each region or something like that. Top 4, top 6, depending on how big the region is. But there's also cash prizing on the line. There's extra promos. There's prize cards and boxes and stuff for people to open. So it's points for Worlds, but also a lot of cool stuff.
I mean, you've got people from New Zealand, Canada, you've got a few Americans, a lot of Europeans who travel over. The game does look like it's drawing people in, and like you said, the cash prizing and on top of the exclusive arts, it has to be a big drive.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've got a very big collector community in this game too. People love to collect the cards. They're really nice to look at, especially the higher rarity ones. And so the cards that people win by playing in these events are always the fancy, full art artist signature versions. So there's a lot of drive for people, especially people who just want to have cool stuff for their collections.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I've lost track of what I was going to say next. To put it bluntly, because I don't think I can sugarcoat this, with cash prizing on the ground, I think someone told me it was 10k split among the top 8 on top of all the other prizing. How's the player base?
I can't speak for literally everybody in the community, but for the most part, everyone is super nice. I don't think we've ever really had any issues with players being high temper, yelling, being angry. I think everyone gets frustrated here and there, and that's sort of normal, especially with a lot on the line. But our community, I think, is one of the most easygoing and welcoming TCG communities that I've seen, and I've played many TCGs and I've been a part of many communities. So I'm always happy to hang out with these guys. I think most of them are just wonderful people.
That's absolutely amazing. Having part of the company, the head of OP and high ups of OP at events is a great thing, because the players get to know who's making the game, get to establish that rapport and relationship with players. It's something that a few card games do, but not enough do.
Yeah, and we're still small, we're still growing, but one of the foundations of this game is that all of the developing team has been sort of in the community from the very beginning. So we like to be on the ground, we like to talk to players, we like to get feedback directly, because ultimately we want everyone here to have a good time as much as we want to make a good game. So being on the ground, talking to people, hearing everyone's thoughts and opinions, it's really helpful for us to make sure that everyone is here having fun.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, you guys can go back and you can come up with ideas, but if the community can tell you what they are looking for, what they need, what they want. Yeah. The people playing the game, the people you're making the game for, are possibly the best source of information. Yeah, and it's been great. And obviously, we have to take everyone's opinions with a grain of salt, right? Not everyone is a designer, but a lot of times the things that people get frustrated about, if it's a big enough sentiment, we have to look at why people are getting frustrated about that, and always something to learn from. So super happy to have this sort of open dialogue with the players and everything, just because it's made growing much smoother. Yeah, is this card busted, or did you just lose to it? Yeah. A lot of times the answer is you just lost to it. But every once in a while there's something that needs to be addressed. So happy to hear it from people. No, when it comes to power balancing, erratas, bans, is it something you do on the regularly, or is it as and when things pop up? So we are very transparent with our ban list. We do have cards that are banned, but we have a scheduled ban list that comes out exactly when people know it's going to come out, so there's no surprise bans. And there's usually always a list of we're watching this card, this card's on high alert, or this card's banned. We try to avoid erratas just because erratas they're complicated, they're confusing. It's usually bad experience for the players, especially for new players when cards are errated. Because if you open a card, you read it, and then it doesn't do what it says it does, it's confusing. So we try to avoid that if possible. So that's been pretty easy going. And then as far as power scaling goes, I mean, we have some of the higher placing champions and characters that are still being played are from the very first set of the game, and we're 8 sets in.
So, we've gone almost 3 years now, and we have a number of cards and stuff from the very first set that are still very important staples and in very high placing cards. So I think it's been a very smooth experience for the players where, it's not like something's changing every single new set. You have to get all the new cards to keep playing. You can still play your favorite champion, for 3 years and have success.
That makes a lot of sense. Like I said, you guys you've played a lot of card games. The resource system of Grand Archive is very cool. It reminds me a lot of the World of Warcraft card
Yeah, a little
game.
bit. Yeah, World of Warcraft, there's a little bit of like Force of Will inspirations in there. A lot of like different pieces because the team that designed the game originally they were very inspired.
So what card games have you played, and how does Grand Archive compare?
For me, so I've played most of like the big ones. So I've played Pokemon, I've played Yu-Gi-Oh, I've played Magic, I've played a little bit of Flesh and Blood, and I've dabbled in some of like the Bandai games, so like One Piece, Dragon Ball, stuff like that. I wouldn't say I play those games, but I've tried them. For me, Grand Archive, the first time I tried it, I was actually working at a game store, and what drew me to it was just how smooth the gameplay felt. Like I've been playing a lot of different games, and a lot of times the gameplay never felt quite as smooth as Grand Archive did. So even before the first set came out, we were still using printed cards that weren't real yet. But I was just having a really, really good time with the loop of the game. It just felt really nice, and it felt very intuitive as someone who's played a lot of games. So I think that's still the case. It feels really good to play, in my opinion.
I've talked to a couple of players who said that this event wasn't as big as that they were expecting, or that they feel the company was expecting. But I mean, you're getting players from all over the world.
Yeah, this is it's actually about where I thought it was going to be. Around 200 players is where we settled. It's a little bit low if you compare it to some of the regions where the game is really big. So over in like Southeast Asia, we're getting like 500 to 600 players per event. We just had an event in Japan we had almost 800 players at, and then North America usually has close to 400. And so it's lower compared to the global scale, but if you put it in the context of, we're still growing in Europe as a whole, and we're still learning, the differences of this region compared to the other ones, I think this is a resounding success.
Is there anything, in your opinion, that in Europe that could help bolster it?
For us, it's been just a lot of learning on the fly. Since none of our team members are based in Europe, learning sort of how people approach like hobby cultures here is very different. We've had to go through that struggle with every region that we've gone into, where it's like in North America, people like to have their card games one way, and that's how they like to experience it. In Southeast Asia, they like it this way. When we were expanding into New Zealand and Australia, like they have a very particular way that they like to engage with like hobbies. So it's just been learning, but the more dedicated individuals we get who are really excited about the game, and just being able to tell your friends and get them into it, because usually once someone gets into the game, they get really excited about it, and I think we've just inspired a very passionate community, and so just having more of those individual ambassadors is like really helpful.
That makes a lot of sense when the company itself is passionate. When you've partnered with amazing local stores like Living Realms, who are very passionate about gaming, and a very good name, and then you also got a passionate community, the passion for the game comes off of everyone you speak to. I know everyone I've spoken to, I've felt the passion for the game, and it makes me want to try and play it more. I'll thank you for your time. I'll end it in one last quick question. Why should people who are not playing Grand Archive give Grand Archive a try?
I think Grand Archive is a great game, especially to learn on. I think if you're someone who is on the edge of something, I think you should try it because it's very easy to pick up, and it's very intuitive to play, and it feels good to play. And also, it's a great hobby because it's a social hobby. And I think especially right now, we spend so much time not talking to people that it's a really good way. I think card games in general, this goes for all of them. It's a really good way to just find a reason to meet up with someone and like sit down and have a back and forth, have a conversation, play a game. I think these kinds of hobbies are just really, they feel really good right now, and I think there's not really a better time to be a card game player. So
yeah, that mentality is actually perfect in my opinion. Coming to an Ascent, going to a regional, going to Worlds, it should be about the experience, but the social aspects.
Yeah.
Playing the game with friends and making new friends there.
Yeah.
The pricing is cool, but if you don't do well, you've not wasted your money, because you've made memories, you've made connections, and you found more people to enjoy this game with.
Yeah, and we've been pushing recently, and for our next set, that we're pushing a lot more on the casual side. So, like, originally, this game has a lot of drive for competitive players, just because of all the prizing on the top end, and a lot of the people who really like to take card games seriously can get a lot out of it by playing a lot. But we're pushing, casual formats. We're trying to get people to just, sit down and have fun and make friends that way, because I really think that this sort of hobby in general is just a great way to engage with people in that way. So
that makes a lot of sense. I heard someone talk about multiplayer, but what casual formats are there?
So right now, the main casual format would be Draft. There's one set, Mortal Ambition, that comes with draft packs, and so you can, you open the packs, you build your deck on the fly, and then you just play against each other. And because you have to build the decks out of the packs that you open, a lot of times they're not, super efficient or super good, but you end up with a lot of fun moments in between people. But the one that's upcoming in our next set is called Pantheon, which is a good way to think about it is similar to Magic's Commander format, where it's singleton, so the decks are very diverse, and then it's multiplayer, 4 players, free for all. So you get that sort of social politicking aspect where you're like, well, I'll go after this player, but only if you don't, you just get a lot of that fun dynamic, which you don't get to see in a 1v1 game. And all of the cards are written with multiplayer in mind. So even if you don't want to play the official multiplayer format, there's lots of ways to engage with the game in a casual way that you can make up yourself.
That makes a lot of sense. When cards are malleable like that, they say each player or such thing, it allows people to come up with their own fan formats, because you mentioned Commander, but Elder Dragon Highlander was a judge event that they came up with. So it shows that the players do get to have a lot of fun and doing stuff. Yeah,
and we've had a number of different community run events. I think a while ago some people figured out how to run sort of like a raid format where you had a raid boss you had to take down. I've seen people do other multiplayer formats. I've seen people try to do 2v2s. There's all sorts of things that you can do, and I just love seeing people experiment and have fun with the game that we gave them.
I mean, raid sounds amazing. I'm a big fan of PvE and card games where you just band together with friends, because to me they're some of the most new player friendly, because you're not worried about what the boss is doing as much. You're more focused on learning the mechanics of the game yourself. Well, thank you for your time, and
absolutely.
have yourself an absolutely great weekend.
You too.